Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Feel Good Friday. We got another brilliant night lined up for you. This is something we have been doing, rocking and rolling this year with massive success and community connecting through this show and this stream. So drop a comment if you're hanging here with us tonight. Good to see you. Theo already rocking and rolling with us. Welcome, brother. Tonight's show is powered by Restream. We are rocking and rolling on Twitch, LinkedIn, and YouTube, all thanks to Restream. So if you are curious, we're going to have a link shared with you. If you're ever curious about streaming, hit me up. I would love to support your journey. But I'm going to go take care of a few quick things. What's up, Tiffany? What is up, Tamika? Good to see you, ladies, rocking and rolling already. I'm going to go take care of some admin things, but welcome to Feel Good Friday. Hello, beautiful people, rocking and rolling. Happy Friday and welcome to the weekend. We are coming at you with a special edition of Feel Good Friday. The man, the myth, the legend, Jahmaal Marshall is going to be rocking and rolling with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, got some dog barking action right on time, always when I'm firing up the stream. Yes, this is amazing. Thank you, Tamika. Teresa, rocking and rolling with us already. Amazing. Thank you guys so much. We are just chilling this first half hour until Jahmaal Marshall hops in with us. So welcome to the Hangout. Say hello to somebody in the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. Oh, there he is. Our man is in the chat hanging with us. I gotta love it. Welcome, Jahmaal. I'm excited for tonight, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging with us. We are rocking and rolling. I just heard some dings going off here. Ronan with the raid. Thank you. I see you over on Twitch. Appreciate you guys hanging out. KDJ in the building. Much appreciated, brother. Happy to see you hanging with us. Tamika Osborne in the house. Enrique with the resubscription. Damn. So you guys, we have our first, I've been streaming on Twitch for a little while and we have a first recurring subscription.
You're a beast.
Enrique, thank you for the subscription over on Twitch. I see you. I feel you, brother. So glad to have you along for this journey, and everybody else here in the chat. Let's light it up. Say hello to somebody else here in the comments. Welcome to Feel Good Friday. Yeah. Silver Fox dropping them beats. Yo, thank you for the cheer, DJ. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Thank you guys so much. Tiffany, thank you for hanging with us. Appreciate you. And Tamika as well. Hope you guys had a amazing week. Welcome to Friday. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you are up to this weekend. Anything exciting? Or if you're just being the loser and hanging out like me. Hanging out doing nothing all the time. I pretty much live most of my life in not only in this house, but in this chair in this room. So yeah, gotta love it. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Andrew Vanesi, welcome, brother. Yeah, I am switching up the tunes a little bit here. We went with like lots of like pop songs and mashups I was trying in the prior weeks, but those also got a ton, even though they were mashups, they got a ton of copyright strikes on YouTube. So trying to be a little more mindful of the music and had to switch the vibe a little, but I'm glad you guys are loving it. Thank you. We will have Jahmaal Marshall joining us very soon, the 4:30 mark for me, 6:30 Eastern. So for now, connect with somebody here in the chat. Oh man, I wonder. Yeah, keep me in tune on your guys' end. I'm trying some new things here, so let me know if anything's out of whack or the timing or the audio or video. Let me know how it's feeling. But Tamika, good to see you. Andrew V. Yo, Silver Fox. Dropping more love over on Twitch. I see you, DJ. Thank you so much. And everybody else that's rocking and rolling on Twitch. Haley Hudson is with us tonight. Oh man, Keith McCabe, good to see you as well. Enrique rocking and rolling as always. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are curious, we do have a little bit of a party going on over on the Twitch channel. I did just drop the link on LinkedIn if you want to convert. Drew Penitent, good to see you back here again, brother. Drew had a legendary moment in last week's stream. Somebody requested a picture of JP balding, and by the end of the stream, Drew, who just hopped in the chat here, had a photoshopped picture ready and delivered of JP. It was absolutely amazing. Well played, Drew. Welcome back, brother. Wow, Twitch gang rocking and rolling. I see more and more people hopping over there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Oh man. Even our resident VIP, Jahmaal, is in the building. In the building. Yo, Nick Lozano, always holding it down. Nick is a beast. Whole nother level, that dude, man. Oh, I see the Twitch gang going hard. Fernandez in the house, who wakes up at like 4 or 5 in the morning to come join us. Welcome to the party, Adi. It's always a pleasure. KDJ, I see you made the hop to Twitch. Good call, sir. Yo, always a pleasure. I see this room loading up. So if you are joining over on the LinkedIn side, drop a quick little comment. Let us know you're here. Or if you recognize anybody in the chat, say hello. Yo, I feel like my camera is very delayed. I don't know if it is on your guys' end, but I feel like it's like a half a second off. But no worries. Yeah, that was amazing, Drew. We appreciate you. Teresa, please do connect with him. Everybody here, very good idea to just connect with the people here in the comments. That's been half of the value of these streams, is the community that's really built between you guys together. I'm able to kind of throw these things together, but the real fun is really being able to connect. Yo, Trevor Millage back in the house. LinkedIn fam from Colorado. Gotta love it. Welcome, Trevor. Welcome back, I believe. I think you were with us last week as well. Much appreciation, bro. Oh, I see the Twitch lighting up. Twinsky back in the building. Good to see you, man. Oh, awesome. Very awesome. Very, very excited to see people switching over. Uh-oh. Darby has made the hop as well. Good to see you over there. Singing body, yaddy, yaddy. Teresa, you might be alone on that one, but we'll see. Yo, Ruby Stanley in the building. Welcome to the party. Awesome to see you guys hanging with us. We are just warming up the room before our resident LinkedIn legend, Jahmaal Marshall, will be incoming in about 15 minutes. And we are going to unpack what is up in his world, because he is crushing it. And he's got a brilliant story that I am excited to share with y'all. So thank you for hanging. Jackie Curl dropping some beats. Damn, Jackie. Appreciate the love over on Twitch. Gotta love it. Gonna be a good night, ladies and gentlemen. We're going for a little bit more of a casual vibe here. I think it aligned with Jahmaal's world and Jahmaal's vibe. He's one of the most chill dudes that just drops so much wisdom, so much insight. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. Appreciate you joining us for another round of Feel Good Friday. Feel free to hop in the chat on the LinkedIn side so we can see you. I see everybody rocking and rolling over on Twitch. We've got, oh boy, more dog barks. Let me just try and drown those out. Gotta love it, gotta love it. I see you guys. If you are on the LinkedIn side, drop a quick little comment. Let us know you're here. Nice. Robert Murray has made it in the building. What's good, Robert? Always good to see you. Have you back here with us. Teresa dropping some love. Damn, Teresa. Damn. I see you. I see you.
You're a beast.
Thank you so much, Teresa. You are a beast. Appreciate your relentless support. I can barely talk over here trying to keep up with everything. But everybody over on Twitch, I see you. I see you rocking and rolling. And everybody with us on LinkedIn, I kind of see you because I can see the viewers. But I can't know who it is unless you say something. So drop a comment if you're chilling with us tonight. A little something, something. Anything you need or anything you want to say. There's brilliant people here in the chat waiting to connect with you. So drop a comment and let us know you're here. Yo, I almost missed it. Jackie! Whoops. So I have a censorship button for when all y'all motherfuckers get out of line. I can go all in without worrying about censorship. Look at that. Robert Murray rocking and rolling with us. Chad Roy. Yo, I love seeing the love on the Twitch channel. It makes me so happy. Mr. Powers in the building. Thank you guys so much. Jackie redeeming some channel points. Oh, they've got such brilliant gamification over on the Twitch side. Yo, Chad Roy or Chad Wah? Is it like Patrick Wah? Either way, we are glad to have you here, brother. This Feel Good Friday session is essentially a community night. We're trying to duplicate that Friday night feeling of being able to disconnect from the weekend and then connect with other actual people. It used to be at shows or downtown or whatever you did on the weekend, but since we're all isolated, this is our new home base for now, and we're glad to have you here, man. Welcome, Chad. Thank you, Tamika. We are just setting the vibe with some soul cleansing music. I know prior episodes I've gone the other end of the spectrum, just hype, freaking jumping out my chair. But I'm glad you guys love the more relaxed vibe. I was curious how it would be received. So thank you, Tamika. Thank you, Tiffany. Everybody showing some love. Darby finally dropping a little something something in the chat. Oh, I love it, you sarcastic punks. Brilliant. Well, glad to see you, Darby. Anybody else here, please connect with Darby. Another brilliant connection here from our LinkedIn community and LinkedIn fam. Welcome. Oh, I see you double dipping both sides. And how's music over on the Twitch side? Who do we got over there? Who is that? I already like you because I'm assuming you are either a music producer or an artist of some sort. Yo, Tamika. Tamika made the hop over to Twitch and is already a subscriber. Gotta love it. Oh, thanks to Teresa! Yo, Teresa, hooking up a gifted sub. Thank you for showing the love. Tamika, you now have unlocked superpowers over on Twitch. If you take a peek at your emotes, you'll have some custom special emotes unlocked of people from our community are actually become the emotes. So congratulations, you just unlocked a paid subscription thanks to Teresa, who has been straight up ballin'. Those ladies are ballin' with the biddies over there, dropping them biddies. There's these paid, everybody on LinkedIn's probably so confused what all of these alerts and emojis are popping up on the screen. Oh, but I love it. Thank you guys for hanging with us. It is about 10 minutes away from Jahmaal Marshall jumping in here with me, and we're just gonna tap into his world, see what's up, and unpack his story, share his story with you guys, and see how deep we can go. And there's supposed to be a main event at some point, but we'll reveal what the hell happened there. For some of you guys that have been following, you might have a head start, but we'll let you know what's up with that after we connect with Jahmaal and see what is going on. Mr. Powers, I think we get one more emote. I think it's at about 10 more subscriptions or so. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check, but a decent chunk. Yo, Mr. Powers gifting another subscription. Gotta love it. Damn, Charlie. I appreciate you, bro.
You're a beast.
You're a beast. You're a beast. Thank you, Charlie Powers, gifting a subscription to House Music. Ladies and gentlemen, get in on the Twitch action. Apparently, they dropping gifts over there, man. Yo, Robert Murray, half second on Twitch, full on hottie on LinkedIn. I don't even know what that means, but we're glad to have you on both on both platforms, man. Ooh, we got an 8-minute countdown till our voice incoming. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Adi in the building. Kenny still rocking and rolling. Yo, LinkedIn fam. Kenny, the legendary KDJ, made a jump over to Twitch. I know you're curious. If you're a little curious, there's a link if you want to check it out. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. You might like it, and maybe you can actually see all the comments because it doesn't freeze like LinkedIn. But we do love the LinkedIn fam, and I do see some lurkers hanging with us. So if you are just watching, drop anything in the chat, just a little something so we can say hello, or if you recognize anybody in the chat, say hi to them. Exactly like Ruby just did. She's recognizing Tiffany hanging with us. Glad to have all of you, Tiffany, Tamika, Ruby. Drew made the switch over to Twitch. I see you. Oh, this is awesome, man. Look at you guys. Look at you guys. Firing up the emotes over there. Gotta love it. Thank you guys for hanging with us tonight. The spotlight story, Jahmaal Marshall, incoming in about 5 minutes. Till then, let's disconnect from the weekend and connect with one another. We appreciate your support deeply as this community has grown week to week to week to week. It's all thanks to you guys and the brilliant people literally supporting exactly like that. Damn. Teresa.
You're a beast.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Teresa with the resubscription. DJ dropping some more paid love. Thank you guys. Gosh, this is beautiful. You guys truly don't know how much it means to me to be able to connect and have a community like this as just a super introvert. This has been mind-blowing to not only discover, but share the journey with you guys. And so many of you guys are leveling up your life, starting businesses together. It's just absolutely inspiring to know how many brilliant creative people we have here. So if anybody is curious, if you want to start joining the love and joining the party with our community, we have a Discord going of athletes and artists and executives and entrepreneurs and all these brilliant people that you are very likely going to have some type of synergy or collaboration point with. So if that sounds like something you want to get in on, join our Discord community that I've just shared in the LinkedIn chat. I will also share it over on Twitch. That is a brilliant way to connect with these people. That's essentially our 24/7 after party. We've got an after party going on in the Twitch pretty much at all times. Yo, and we are about to kick off the hype train. What is happening? What does that even mean? We got another oh god, hype train is at 95%. I still don't know what this means as a Twitch streamer, but I know it's a good thing. And Haley Hudson just kicked it off with another subscription. So something is happening if we get 5% more. I don't know what that means though. Or 4% more. Jackie Curl. Damn, Jackie. Damn. You a beast. You a beast. You a beast. You a beast. Enrique dropping a 69er. Dropping a 69er. Yo, we on that hype train, though. Don't even know where it's gonna go. What does that mean? It means good things, but awesome to see that rocking and rolling. Thank you guys for hitting up that hype train. I think we unlocked something special on the channel. Tamika. Tamika. So, for everybody that's curious, what the hell is happening? They have gamified, they being Twitch, have gamified streaming so much. They've added this thing called, oh my lord, more subscriptions coming in. I didn't realize I had the reverb on. My bad. It gets distracting, but we just hit a level 2 hype trade, which again, I'm still not entirely clear what it means, but I know it's a good thing, and it means there's lots of love in this room. So everybody that just participated in these shenanigans, Ronan, Mr. Powers, Jackie Curl, Enrique, DJ, all of y'all, I think you unlocked something special because you're ballers now. So that is amazing. Thank you for all of the love. I gotta get some type of little hype train woo-wah like stormtrooper hat, like the subscribing thing. We gotta figure out something to do to show you guys some appreciation, but this is amazing, amazing. Thank you guys so much. Haley Hudson, I don't understand what to do. Haley, you're already doing it. Just hang out with us, be part of the good vibes, and chime in when when you're having a good time, and we can essentially just roll like that. So I'm gonna fire up our Zoom room. Thank you guys so much for that. Oh, I'm getting pumped. I knew this was going to be an amazing night when the moment we knew Jahmaal was going to be on board. So let me open up the Zoom room for our boy. Yeah. And I don't think, oh my gosh, Enrique, thank you for the love. Mr. Powers with another gifted subscription. Y'all don't even know what's happening. Yo, Chad, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. Tiffany says the Twitch gives her anxiety. So let me pull up our room for Jahmaal so that he does not think I'm neglecting him. Yo, oh my God, Haley Hudson is now gifting subscriptions. She's figuring it out real quick. Absolutely amazing, you guys. Let me get our boy Jahmaal Marshall in the building. He is backstage. I am pulling it up right now. Y'all don't even know what's going down. Our boy is incoming. very soon. Very soon. Jahmaal, if you are watching, you should. The room should be available for you, sir. But no worries, no rush. We are just chilling. Thank you again to everybody there. Jahmaal Marshall is incoming in a quick moment. I don't know if y'all are ready for this, but this guy is an absolute legend. And let me get these out of the way, because once he's in here, thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Enrique. Thank you, Mr. Powers. I'm gonna try and chill on the shout outs on the Twitch side, but he'll feel the love. So let me get him in the room right now. This guy is an absolute LinkedIn legend. I think he is gonna be in a whole nother stratosphere the moment you guys see what this guy has to say. His voice, his everything is absolutely legendary, epic in so many ways, and he is about to be full screened in a quick moment. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jahmaal Marshall. What's good, my brother?
What's up, man?
So, quick question, since before we get started, would you like the music and alerts and all of that on or off for the Zoom meeting? If you can hear what's going on.
You can keep it on.
Okay,
Just
cool.
Keep it live.
No worries. I will keep it rocking and rolling. So you are going to hear lots of little dings and Twitch alerts throughout it. And all that means is the Twitch fam is loving whatever you're saying.
I live in DC, so you're going to hear some dings over here too, possibly.
Yes, all good, man. Appreciate you so much. I don't have an official game plan. We are absolutely just winging it tonight, but this is long overdue. Thank you for sharing your night with us, man. Welcome.
Thank you, bro. Just ask me whatever you want to, and I'll try to do my best.
Yo, I think really what we want to hear is this dude that popped up out of nowhere on LinkedIn. Where did he come from? And I don't only mean that in like the LinkedIn sense, but I would love to understand that in the most literal sense too, of what really has formed your story. I can read between the lines and connect the dots on so many things, but we've just never had the chance to have this moment and this conversation and go directly into it. So that's what I'm excited to explore. I know you've got a few strong opinions on some trendy topics here that we can tap into as well, but really just to get started is I would love to hear your story as an individual and then how it eventually connected into LinkedIn, because you've found this hybrid that so many people are missing, connecting those two worlds and that authentic voice and that authentic self. So if you don't mind, let's take a little trip into a little time portal here and step back in time. What do you consider the first moment that set you on this trajectory here that you're on today? At some point you've found your lane, but is there a moment that without that moment you wouldn't be where you're at today? And maybe let's just start there and hit any pivot points since then.
We're going straight Geraldo Rivera
Hey,
here.
baby.
It's all good. Before we start, and before I answer that question, I definitely want to just acknowledge everybody that came out tonight. Thank you so much.
Do. Yes, they are loving it.
The family. I'm thinking of Teresa, Tamika, Tiffany. We got the T Triple Threat, Ruby Stanley, Enrique. We got who else? Nick Lozano, the legendary Kenneth Dunner Jr. We got Jackie. Oh my, we got Darby. I mean, I can't. It's so many, and so I just want to say I'm so thankful for Andrew. We got Vinny's my brother. I mean, I could just name folks in the chat. Heidi. Oh my goodness, I love Heidi. that's my dude, man. So it's just like I could just go on and on and on. If I lost any names, it's just because I want to keep everything on time and interest of time. But just know all love, and I just love interacting with everybody in the chat. So
okay, good. No worries. So I actually have typically the opposite concern. Of like, oh, I don't want to interrupt anybody or neglect the chat, though. So anything you see or notice, feel free to engage and interact. That's the brilliance of this real-time engagement. We never know where it'll go, and sometimes the best questions and conversations come from you guys. So yes, thank you so much. I see Gabe just hopped in here. Appreciate the love you're dropping over on Twitch, brother.
Got some legends over here. So yeah, I'm gonna take you back and answer that question. So as we like to say at the beginning of the video, let's get into it. So
let's do it.
I think most what people see before them today is a very chill young man and someone who would maybe drop some nuggets here and there, but it wasn't always that way. I grew up really insecure. Many people who have read my about section know that my dad is my best friend. But before that, I would have deemed him my worst enemy. When I was a kid, he, before his life changed, abused drugs and alcohol. And so he became a monster. You know, when he was home for us kids, it was hard to really get close to someone. And seeing as him, he was a roofer, he worked construction. So he was a man's man. And everything he had, it was so hard for me to get close to him. And so I felt like every X factor that he had, I lacked. And I grew up very, very fearful, you know, because I was always so afraid of him. And, you know, my mom, she was absolutely divine, but I felt like dad was mean enough to be Satan himself. And so growing up very insecure, I remember in school, I felt like that's the place where I found a release. And I was told I was naturally funny. And so when I wasn't trying to be funny, I was just funny. And so comedy was a way of escape for me. And I'm not a natural athlete, but I'm a supernatural athlete. You know, I pray and I play. That's how I get through sports. And I could get in somebody's head and just kind of like get them just all tripped over their own two shoestrings. So I found different things to use and different mechanisms to kind of work my way around things and work my way through life. But I felt so insecure. I never felt safe. So I found so many different ways to protect myself. But I was one of the most afraid people alive. And so we'll fast forward. I remember, because I felt like I couldn't help myself, you know, I can help some other people. You know, home, not all of home, but 50% of home is hell for me. So at least I can help someone else who is going through hell. I always, even as a teenager, people would always just tell me like all of their business. And my mom always said, if someone doesn't offer, I don't ask. And so I would never ask. They would just cough it up, but it never went anywhere beyond me. So it's like, if somebody tells you something, take it to your grave. But I will always realize that when they would tell me these things, I would wait for long periods of time and listen. And then somehow, when it was appropriate, come up with a resolution like, you know what, I think this is maybe the most helpful thing you can do in this situation. And this was being a teenager. Yeah. So let's fast forward to college. I get into college and I went in for computer graphics, because at that time, you got to think of this is like early 2000s. I'm dating myself here. I went in for computer graphics. It's going to be lucrative. And I was like, I can't wait to do this. I hated it. I had no aptitude for it. And I was a nerd. I mean, I graduated, I had ASVAB with a 93.3, graduated at like the top of my class, but I just didn't have any aptitude for it. And the classes were so far apart. And so I kept hearing like, you ever thought about becoming a counselor? And I worked as an intern at the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And so you have your job is kind of set for you. It had nothing to do. I worked in communications, oddly enough. But people kept telling me like, you ever thought about becoming a counselor? So I switched my major 2 years into college to psychology. And I found my niche there, man, you know? Yes. And it was during that time where there was so much turmoil between Dad and I that one night he was so drunk. I mean, all over the place, but he actually came and he was on the floor in the hallway and he told me about his childhood. I never heard about these things. I never heard my paternal grandfather. I never knew him. He died before I was born. He told me about him. And I know on this platform that you have, there's so many different backgrounds, and the following I have is everything from atheist to agnostic to Christian to Catholic to Muslim to Hindu to all of the in between. I am a Christian. I don't hide that. But that night, God used me to lead him to Christ, and his life, it wasn't like a major, like right away, but over the course of months, his life changed. But I was still really bitter. I still like low key like hated. I loved him, but I hated him.
No, it's that piece you just mentioned just hits. Doesn't matter, where you come from, but this journey, this connection, whether it's social media or real relationships, somebody you see in the hallway and have like an interaction like this with, it's about changing lives in the smallest of ways, but in the biggest of ways at the same time. And that's something I see emitting from everything you say and everything you do, is it is changing lives. And we all joke about it in like the Reverend King Jahmaal and Reverend Marshall, but like it's for a reason. It's because there's this aura around you and your message that impacts people of all followings, of all industries and religions. And no, it was amazing. So yeah, I was considering if we had more time making this like more universal like Church of LinkedIn type of night for everybody. And we got our local reverend, but we actually, for everybody in the audience, we barely got this put together this week. I'd like to try and be weeks ahead, but thankfully we've wanted Jahmaal on here for a while and then had some things fall through. So rather than just the spotlight story, we'll have some bonus time here with Jahmaal tonight. So it's all, the pieces are aligning. You are noticed and appreciated, man. You're truly making an impact.
Thanks for those kind words. I'll just try to get in the middle and finish out like it. So that was in about maybe 2006, but it was so much that happened in between there too. You know, like growing up, I'm originally from California, so you'll hear me say like a lot. I'm from LA, and then I lived also in Inglewood. We like to call it Inglewood. And so coming from there, we came to DC in '89. I'm totally dating myself. Yes, don't let the young face fool you. So we came here in '89, and for most of the part, I lived in Southeast DC. And so growing up, you know, like in a rough neighborhood, you had to learn early on. Like one thing Dad taught me was like, I never use any weapons. You know, I may joke and say, I'll cut you, but that's just not my thing. So he taught me how to use these. And usually I didn't, you know, you get in fights in school and stuff like that. I wasn't one who got in a lot of fights. Not a lot of people wanted to like, you know, fight me for whatever reason. But when it happened, you know what you're capable of. But I remember being 16 and I remember having a gun held in my face, a 9mm. And on 2 occasions before that, being shot at twice, some indirectly. So it's just that kind of puts a little like edge on you. Like, man, I don't always feel like so safe, you know, where I live at. And so I kind of, you know, I didn't go stay inside and stuff like that. You can't keep me inside. I still wanted to be out. I just found different ways to be out and kind of stay out of trouble. But that helped direct me to not living a life, you know, on the streets of DC, but also, you know, Mom kept my head in the books. And so it was just like, you know, you either want an education or you can become a product of your environment. So she raised me to go against the grain of everything that I was around. And my dad, even though he was where he was, he affirmed that. You know, he always affirmed in his children, I want you guys to be who you are. And one running theme, like my mom, she's one of those moms. She's a precious jewel. She is the gem of gems. She would take notes when she would go to parent-teacher conferences. And a running theme, because she would say, well, this is what your teacher said about you, so we need to go over this. A running theme that she would always see is not a follower. And so even being a kiddo and being a preteen and a teenager, it was always something in me of I would see the crowd and they were doing this, that, and the other. And it's just like, you know what? I want to do things a little differently. And it was weird. I was just one of those, I've always been a nerd, but I've been a cool nerd. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've been one of those nerds people want to follow for some reason. So it's like, I'm not a dork or a dweeb. It's very different.
Oh.
I'm a nerd, but I'm a dang cool nerd and I'm a smooth nerd.
Yo. Oh, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Jahmaal we were waiting for. We knew it. We knew it. No, I knew I'm resonating so deeply here, man. Loving it.
Yeah, man. So we'll fast forward a little bit because I know in interest time we don't have all night, man. I could be on this thing with you for 3 hours.
We technically do. Technically, LinkedIn will kick us off at 4 hours, but I won't. Okay. But you're good, man. No, whatever version you want. 4 hours.
So fast forward and I'm at DOJ, you know, Dad is kind of starting to turn a corner and I started to want perfection from him. You know, you think, okay, you found this faith or you found whatever, like surely everything needs to change overnight. And of course the expectations like up here, and he's taking these baby steps. And I'm not thinking in my own life, it's like, dude, you ain't got it all together yourself. Like, what are you expecting from him? And he's been in that thing for like 50 plus years. It's like, it takes a long time to begin to go west when you've been going east your whole life, you know? And so I had a lot of things that I was working through. But it's like we started getting like slowly, you know, the crazy glue kind of came off and we started coming together. And when I wouldn't be around him, I missed him, you know? But I knew I had a lot churning inside of me. And I graduated in 2000, was it 2009? Yeah, I'm one of those guys that went to 4-year college for 5 years because I wasn't doing summer school. The heck with that. I had a government job. I was making money. And I didn't pay university nothing. I owed nothing but to love them. I'm out here debt free. And so I didn't go to college for 4 years. I did the 5-year track. And I knew my co-op with the government was up. You know, I graded out, you know, my position. They paid me really well. And so it's like I had nothing going on and I couldn't find a job. And the strangest thing was, this is Department of Justice. This is the headquarters in DC of the whole Federal Bureau of Prisons. And they had it going away from me. The director came to my going away, which is like kind of crazy. Like the whole director of the United States thing would come. People were like, I can't believe they're not keeping you. And I didn't see God's hand in that. But I knew, like, as much as I wanted to help people, I wasn't allowing God to help me. And when you don't allow God, or whatever it is that you use, or whatever your faith or background may be to help you, you can't help people with any measure of authority. There's no character behind that. There's no weight behind that. There's no, you know, what is there except your own just ideas that you have in your head. And so I knew I needed to get away to actually deal with me first before wanting to come alongside another. Not to be perfect, but actually get through my own process. And so I went away and I did this little program, and I remember what got exposed in me was just so much bitterness. You know, with my dad. They kept just talking about this. And I was like, man, I'm cool with him. I didn't realize that I just really was blaming him because I had made some like really rough decisions. You know, I gone down some dark alleys, man. And I just kept always talking about what's because of my childhood. And I was just blame shifting. Everything was like his fault. And it's just like, dude, can you take any freaking personal responsibility? I didn't want to take personal responsibility for nothing. And I didn't see that was the arrogance of what I was in. I can't speak for, I know it's a broad listenership, and some people have some real stuff that's been perpetrated on them. But at that age, I was 24, you know? So at 24, it's just like, Jahmaal, you make some of these decisions because you want to. You just got to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're doing and whatever. And I had this faith I laid claim to, you know, when you become whatever as a teenager. But for me, it was really in name only. It wasn't mine. It became mine, and it became real to me when I took personal responsibility and actually learn, and I'll say repent of who I was. It's not even of my sins. I had to repent of who I was. It was a whole upheaval of me that needed to happen. And I remember coming back to see my dad after 7 months and to see my family. Of course, I missed them dearly. But I remember when I saw him and we went to this park, right? It was at PG Community College, my first college I started at. And I told him all this stuff, like, because I was always so afraid of him. Everything I'd ever done, all the wrongs, all the ills, times I had gone to a hotel and just all that, you know, stuff, you know, that dudes be doing. And I remember just kind of waiting for like fireworks. And he said, man, I can't judge you, only God can. Wow. And it was just this really intimate moment. I don't even know how to describe it with words, but only cheapen it. And you everybody who knows my story knows where I'm going with this, but it was weird. I had this camera on me and I said, can I take a picture of you? It was just the strangest thing. He said, sure. Yes. And he just smiled. I wanted to capture that moment on film. Not with us together. I just wanted to see him, you know? And we just spent that whole day together, just walking around the track, just talking like we had been best friends for years. And that solidified like a connection in us. And this nonprofit that I've been at, that I had gone to get help at, they actually brought me on at first in admin and then as a counselor. So I became that counselor that everybody thought I was going to be. I trained for years, and then I became certified in counseling. I'd already had the major in psychology. So that was the story that kind of brought me to, you know, part of where I am today. But in that counseling, I'd worked from everybody from 18 to, you know, 18 living in their mama's basement to 50-year-old divorcees of all different types of life controlling issues. And with all that going on, you learn that different people don't learn everything the same way. And this was a program. This was a residential program.
Yeah.
And so I remember before I left, I was one of 3 senior counselors. I remember saying, like, you can't take people and you can't program them. You actually have to sit with people and disciple them. And that means just do life with them. So a lot of times I would take some of my guys off campus and be like, I just have them ride with me and let them see me do life. If you think about LinkedIn, everybody's, COVID's hatched a coach every 5 minutes, but what do you know about your coach? What do you know about your therapist? What do you know about your counselor? So on and so forth. I let these guys just see me do life. That means we're going through a drive-through and somebody's just kind of I let them see me like, you know what, she's getting on my nerves, but that was the wrong thing to say. Just not being this porcelain phony, but like shattering the image. It's like, this is what it means to be a man. This is what it means to say I'm wrong. This is what it means to like fall down and get back up, And so through that, God taught me how to disciple men and also even how to deal with, women, because these men had wives or they had moms or they had sisters or they had all sorts of things. And it was a lot of rough times in that. But I'm telling you, I didn't get paid a lot, but the emotional and the spiritual currency out of this world, man.
Ooh.
And I could have done it for free, outside of, with some coworkers who I probably would have, catapulted into the air. I could have done it for absolute free, man.
Yo, oh my God, that line. Emotional and spiritual currency. Fit is so fitting for here. When I hopped in here and just threw on, we didn't, like I was mentioning, we didn't officially have any game plan or theme or anything, and we were just rolling through some of the tracks and came across like the need for a, like, I was calling it like cleansing your soul, in whatever spiritual way or universal way you mean that. And now what you're mentioning is an even deeper concept of that, of thinking of it as a currency, as something you can give and take and exchange. And it's something that I think that's why stuff like this works, is because of that connection, that energy. I've heard that word more times than anything else in like LinkedIn, in your videos and these live streams and stuff like that. It's an energy transfer of someone, somehow, somewhere, we're exchanging that energy in certain frequencies, and sometimes it resonates, other times it does not resonate at all. But amazing to hear that is going in my bank for sure, the concept of emotional and spiritual currency. So deeply appreciate you mentioning that. That one's gonna stick with me for sure, man. More gems from the Reverend. Yeah.
Man, I couldn't impart anything, man. I mean, it was wild, because it's like when you're doing what you've been called to do or what you've been born to do, you can do it without getting paid. You hear a lot, especially on the platform of LinkedIn or even Instagram, about revenue, but it's like, it's nothing like eternal revenue. It's nothing like spiritual revenue, because long after these bodies are gone, we will still be here, at least in some form or way or shape or form. And I knew that this is what I was born to do. This is part of this is my why, And then I began, after the counseling, they started to say, well, hey, you seem like you have some gifts to really go beyond just behind the doors one-on-one. And so they began to actually send me around. I got to go to London and a lot of different places in the States to share and to, promote and everything like that. And so I began to come into my gifts of public speaking. And I had taken some public speaking classes in college, but it's just like, it's something that I believe God just put in me, is that gift to speak. Like, this is my weapon. You know what I'm saying? Some people may have they may have good programming skills and all sorts of stuff like that. Like this is my weapon, and this is my weapon. And that's what I use.
Dude, you are lighting up I love analogies and metaphors and puns as well, more than anything. But these analogies you're throwing, we all have different weapons, the same way that you wouldn't expect to just fit in somebody else's clothes or their style. There is a specific purpose in finding what your weapon is. And sometimes it's creative ability. Other times it's your voice. So what was the moment, or like what type of signals or things made you know this was your weapon? Were you experimenting with stuff that felt like it was missing the mark? what was the moment you were like, ooh, this is this is actually making an impact. This is actually doing something, versus whether it is writing or coding or other stuff that were not your weapon. How can we find what our weapon is?
I think it's a thread that may follow us. I mean, I think it's not something that happens overnight, but when I was a kiddo, I think I was maybe 8 years old, and one of the first things I was in was a play, and I played Martin Luther King Jr. And I remember I left my all my notes and everything like that. I left it at home. I was like, the whole speech is gone, and so I had to actually remember from scratch and just wing it. And I remember standing at the podium for like a whole 90 seconds, just quiet, because I was trying to recall everything in my mind. And as I was able to recall it, it all came out. And to see people who didn't know me, this 8-year-old, 9-year-old little boy, walk up afterwards and be like, man, that was powerful. And I'm up there about to piss my pants thinking like, what? You know, I began to see like, you know what, man, that's what you're supposed to do, you know? And I mean, obviously with this being Black History Month, he's one of the people, you know, people ask me about Obama. Yeah, he's cute. I really admire Martin Luther King Jr. I have deep admiration and respect for the person of Martin Luther King Jr. I don't want somebody to clip the Obama thing and say he threw shade on Obama.
Here, it's already clipped. Here we go. Welcome to 2021. Well,
yeah. Martin Luther King Jr. There was really none like him, you know, in our time, and it actually was before your time and my time, thankfully. So, and I began to, I think it became real to me that was my weapon when I took a mass comm class and I learned how to do a radio program. It was just so fun. And it's almost like, as crazy as it was and as much as it drove people crazy, I was like, I want to do this, you know, to put together different ads and even public service announcements to bring in music, but to also bring people into an experience. You know, of course, no one does it like you. You are the GOAT in my mind. And, you know, I'll affirm that time and time and time again. But to do that and to have the class, these were people who had been in it longer than me, say, dude, like, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, I kept hearing that running theme. But mostly, I'll tell you, above all else, what let me know this was my weapon was my time of meditation. I'm one who got to praise out loud. And because my mind, I get so distracted. And a scientific fact is that your mind has to shut up to hear what your mouth has to say. And so the way I connect with God is by opening my Bible and I just pray through it. And it makes it real to me because, you know, religion kind of gets a very bad rap these days. And again, I don't have a religion, y'all. I don't like religion. I have a relationship with a God who brings me into being. Religion is doing. You keep doing, you will burn out. And when you've been a good little boy and a good little girl and you get tired of that, you're going to go right back to the same perversion you started with. But a relationship, that can carry you miles. You can go through any glass ceiling when you have a relationship. And that relationship and that communication, I would hear him speak back to me. I'm not trying to sound weird or kooky, but just through the word, you know, not like, oh, I heard God say this. That's how people get into cults. He would just speak with what already was written. And I'm like, wow. And it would make sense. You know, I like the kinesthetic. I'm really hands-on. It's like, how do I practically apply this? You know, because when things are too ethereal, you know, some of the mindfulness folks are like, oh, just meditate. It's like, man, make that real. What are you talking about? Yeah. You know, things just became simple. And so that time of communication, that's what let me know, like, you know what, this is your weapon. That's the gift that God's given you. That's your primary touch point to actually just knock down some walls.
It all starts from within, man. No, you are lighting up the chat. I'm seeing the Twitch. This is the highest I've seen the Twitch rocking and rolling in a while. So these guys are loving what you're lighting up. I'm seeing all kinds of preach. Absolutely amazing. Jacob just dropped a massive cheer. That's some paid support. Damn, they just dropping the love over there, Jahmaal. I knew the energy.
What's up, Jacob?
Yo, I love it. Yeah, just saying. I think that's Jihan. Made the jump. Kevin Logan made the jump. Tamika made the jump. Keith made the jump.
It's nobody on LinkedIn.
Yo, no, this keeps happening, and I'm like a little self-conscious of it, and I see like, oh my gosh, shit. the numbers on LinkedIn are dropping, and then I look at the Twitch, and I'm like, oh shit, the numbers on Twitch are up. So it's this like, yeah, it's this contrasting emotion, but they are loving it so much. Just wanted to briefly show some. I guess I'll be the messenger here for some of these coming through on Twitch, but couldn't agree more, man. I think you're hitting the conversations that we aren't having that we need to be having. There's so many of those in our culture, just so many things that get swept under the rug, and the way our society is structured is for us to seek external resources or external validation or consumerism. Buy this to receive this. And so often, 80-90% of the time, the work or the answers, what you're looking for, is within. You have to start asking yourself the right questions, asking yourself better questions. And that's what I'm seeing you highlight here in this conversation, man. So mad props. Chat's loving it. Everybody's loving it. Feel free to drop in anything you need from Reverend Marshall's service here tonight. He is sharing his time with us. It's just amazing. So another sincere thank you. Not surprised that we'd be tapping into this higher frequency, but appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate you. You just said something so key though, and I love the way you're able to keep this going, and that's why you're the go-to the experience. Is like, we're all looking for something. We're all searching for something. And a lot of times we live on substitutes, and we become so used to living on those substitutes, you know, whether it's other people, you know, whether it's relationships, and we're built for relationships. That's a good thing. Or whether it's the drug of choice, it may be food, you know, it may be video, it may be pornography, it may be a toxic relationship with the opposite or the same sex, whatever it is that floats your boat. It may be any of those things. Yeah. And we think, you know, I think I need this thing. You know, it may be drugs, all those substitutes that we train ourselves and we train our brains to live on. And we don't realize that those things actually bring us into bondage. It brings us under its own law. It's like you become a law into it when you think you can't live without it. And as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. But the thing is when we tap into that higher frequency, and for me, that frequency is God. It's like there's a psalm that says he leads me beside still waters. A lot of times other than being led beside the still water, we'd rather be led by the torrent and drown in hundreds of feet of water of our own making, because we want to live off these substitutes. And the substitutes, it's like we wouldn't do them if it didn't feel good. People say, oh, what's the pros? It's like, well, it feels good. Even though it's followed by 1,001 cons, just be honest. You do it, and I do it because it feels good. And it takes time to retrain the mind, the brain, and the body to believe, you know what, there's a better way. You know, it's like for me, in my faith, you know, Jesus Christ gave. So it's like, if I'm in a rush to give instead of get, and I can be like him, then I'm at the highest frequency that I can be at, you know? And so when we're in a rush to give, you think about what we talk about here on this platform, we always talk about giving, you know what I'm saying? Many of us are in a rush, even in networking, we want to get, you know? And if you think about even the way people do connections, it's like you send a connection request and boom, they're sending you all sorts of links because they want to get. It's like their brain and their mind isn't trained to give. It's that instant gratification. And then they'll send you another thing like, oh, you didn't send me anything back. It's like, you can tell that they may not be in, let's say, sexual immorality or out of control drugs, but it's like, you're still, it's like, it's almost another way of committing an act. It's almost a way of committing a sexual act. It's like, you just want that gratification. You cannot wait on anything, can you? You have just shown me who you are. And like Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. The first time.
Ooh,
I'm gonna give second chances, but
gosh. Oh, loving it. No, these are deep lessons that I think, as you've alluded to, like, learn them the first time, because if not, they can pull you so far off of your lane or your destiny, whatever it may be. Other people's energy can do that. There's, just like in nature, there's symbiotic relationships and parasite relationships. Like, same thing happens in our world. Why would we be excluded from any of that? Be mindful of finding those symbiotic relationships rather than the parasitic ones where people are just sucking or pulling your energy or pulling you off track. It's just so dangerous. So I'm glad you were able to drop some of Mama's wisdom on us, because it is so valuable.
But you just said it. It's like, it's crazy because I'm looking at someone who just dropped in the chat, at least on LinkedIn, Tamira Badu. I call her the princess of encouragement. And if you are not following her, follow Tamira Badu. Oh my goodness, she is the princess. I love her. She's just amazing. And she is someone who has that frequency of very positive, high energy, and you know it's found in a great place. And it's like, that's why I think of when I connect with her, when I connect with Andrew, even when I connect with Sid, it's just like, Sid, now you know Sid is dropping like straight financial bombs, but it's something about his energy. He's there to give. You know, you think about Tiffany, you think about Tamika, you think about Ruby. I mean, I could go down the list. You think about Enrique, Joseph. I could list like all these people here. They're givers. You think about what happened before we even got on this call. People just doing subscriptions, and Jacob Stewart. These are givers. The frequency is so high tonight because you have all these givers in the same place. That's a lot of energy, you know? But we have to get to the place. I think of Jackie, Teresa. I mean, I can name almost everybody in this chat. It's just, it's hard to see everything because of how stuff looks on my computer. But if you think about what it means to give versus to get, but also what you were saying, what are we drawn to? Because sometimes we're drawn to even that toxicity in a career stance, or we're drawn to people that drain us. You know, one thing I pull away from is typically the person who dubs themselves an influencer, but they don't do what they say. The moment they don't do what they say, not the moment, because I'm one who gives second, third, and fourth chances. But when I see a running theme, your credibility catches wings and it flies away. And I'm like, okay, you have influenced nothing but your ego. You're doing really good at saying who you are, and you got the Instagram life going, but there's no authority. And when there's no authority, there's weight. And when you're light as a feather, you're gone. So I think that's why you have some people on the platform that really catch fire, because you can see that who they are online and who they are offline is synonymous. Not perfect, but synonymous.
No, it's something that we so often think needs to be filtered because of how easy it is. With all of the tools accessible to us, we can choose anything we want, like to create the same thing you can do like with video editing. You can make anything look very scary or very funny or very dramatic based on the editing. We do the same with our social media and our profiles, and it would be very easy to get caught up in the creating the perfect version of yourself rather than, which we'll hear it 100 times more, the authentic version that we really should be bringing to the table. And it took me decades to finally like come to terms with that this last year. And what a surprise, the first year I'm like just genuinely, truly authentic, like sweating through black t-shirts, like I'm like, and everybody's loving it, and it's the most community, the most support I've ever seen, versus in the music world and the MySpace days, it was creating this perfect aura. And then in the era after that, it was creating this professional suit and tie. I'm very experienced and professional. And then finally, when all that bullshit was dropped, I had the best year of my life. Like, weird. Isn't
it amazing? I mean, isn't it amazing how that happens when we finally drop our guard? And kind of going back to earlier when we were talking about, you know, when you're fearful, and I could just speak to this, and there's a lot of bold people on here, you become so guarded, you know? You throw a shield up, and people, I would tell my clients this, I want to get to know you. I don't want to get to know your representative, you know? But we have this representative and this person that we put forward, and we don't realize that you actually reap what you sow. The very thing you put out, that's what you're going to get back. So you're putting out fakeness and you're getting back fakeness. You're wondering, why did I get that back? You know, it's a universal principle. Sowing and reaping is everywhere, even beyond this planet, there's sowing and reaping. And being so fearful of people, I would get around someone and I would like become like them, because I, you know, growing up the way I did, I had a fear of rejection. And so I felt like I could never be me and be fully me in the presence of anybody, because they would reject me and they wouldn't love me. If they knew certain things about me, then it's over for me. And I was I had this thirst to want to be affirmed and anyone wants to be liked or be loved, but it's like I was looking for it in the wrong places. I didn't even know what my voice sounded like. It's like, how does your voice inflect? Because it's like, I can imitate almost anybody because I grew up imitating like people because I could sound like them because I thought that's how they want me to sound. And so my mind was just so loaded with what I thought everybody else wanted to see, what I thought everybody else wanted to hear, the career I thought everybody else wanted me to have. And it was just like, dude, who are you? What do you sound like? What do you look like? What do you talk like? How does your voice inflect? How do you emote? Do you even know? And that confidence wasn't always there. It got developed as, like you said earlier, I just sat with myself and got real with myself and got real with God and got honest. And when I did, it's just like, you know, the truth came to me like, man, you are loved. You know, if you're not loved by anybody who is fading away, you're loved by me. It's just like, you know what, man? If that's the case, man, the heck with what anybody thinks. Let's run with this thing. Let's run as long as you'll take me. And it was really sweet for quite some years until 2017, January. That's when my father had a major stroke, and it paralyzed the right side of his body. And so I found myself coming home a lot. You know, my former clients, one of them had his dad's a pilot, and he was able to just get me a lot of flights home. And so it became real to me. Like I thought about leaving the nonprofit I was at for about a year. And so I started praying about it. And in the journey of praying about it, it became real to me. It's time for something else. But the funny thing is, and this is where we're going to get into the journey at, well, I love making memories. And I think that's why I still don't really know how to work Instagram yet. You got to train me on that. You know, all the little fake pictures and all the airbrush. Shut up. You know, I said like, okay, so you stood in front of the Taj Mahal, so what? Give people the why behind the what. So I would video blog everything, and I would just talk to my camera, and I would show my friends, and they'd be like, yo, you know, you're pretty good at this, man. You know, I didn't realize that during that time I was putting in reps, you know, of just kind of developing how to be in front of a camera and not be afraid. And then when I started promoting for the nonprofit, they were like, man, how's it that what takes 3 hours to do with one person take 30 minutes to do with you? You can knock it out of the park just like that. I began to see like, okay, this is part of what I'm supposed to do, you know? And it was hard because it was one of those really strict religious nonprofits. So you really didn't say you're good at something if you were good. It was kind of this false humility, like, oh, well, I'm not that good. I mean, of course you give God glory, you should, but you got to know what you're good at, you know? And so I kind of had a bit of emotional scarring even from that, because it was kind of this phony false humility. It was just weird, you know, but I had to develop, I was putting in reps, and I had to develop like who I was. And so fast forward, I put in my resignation, and they gave me a wonderful going away, and Dad was starting to get better. And around July, we had a care plan to bring him home. I got here September 17th or 18th, 2017, and 3 days later, he ended up in the hospital. And so for 2.5 months, I mean, he was critically ill. We lived in the hospital. And so I watched him have seizures. I saw blood everywhere, cords hooked up to him. I heard him screaming, writhing in pain. I mean, I watched this man die right in front of me for the next 2.5 months. And I just, it hit me. That's like, it's like right, even before he died, I kind of knew it was coming. And then the night he died, actually, I couldn't go home. You know, my mom was with my youngest sister, and my sister came home with her because she has her own children, her own husband. And I said, I have to stay here. And at 5:30 in the morning, they came and got me because he asked not to be resuscitated. And I knew because I heard the alarm and the red thing. I said, I think he's transitioning. So I went in, and I remember opening the Psalms, and I read a Psalm over him. And I said the words to Abide in Me. It's one of my favorite hymns. And I kissed him on his forehead. And he seemed, Travis, he looked so peaceful. He looked more peaceful in his passing away than he looked the last 2.5 months of being in the hospital. And it was a sign from God to me that he was with him. And it was just, you know, I was able to release him and say, you know, I'll see you on the other side, man, you know, till we meet again. But I knew with everything we had gone through, that he was proud of me. And it's like the very thing, you know, I'm kind of skipping around a lot. The very thing that I always wanted from so many different people, you know, that affirmation for someone to like me, for someone to love me, for someone to tell me that they're proud of me, that so many of those things had gotten sewn up People never get to have these conversations with their parents or their dad or their mom. It was nothing between us that didn't get said or any stone that didn't get unturned before he passed away. And that was a gift from God to me, so that when he went and transitioned, there was no bitterness, no whatever. And it wasn't when he was on his deathbed. This was long before he was. He had became like a person who I consider my worst enemy became my best friend and became my brother in Christ, And so him passing, I just wanted to honor him. And his funeral, his service was so beautiful. I mean, the very counselees and the clients I had back in the country, these are the very same people that supported me in my deepest pit. And I ghosted a lot of people because I just, grief is cruel. But people ask me about my faith. And again, I'm not here to convert anybody to anything. But a lot of times, especially here in this country in America, and I have to be careful about how I speak about the church and how I speak about Christianity, because there's some things that definitely need some fixing. You have people who are raised and who are in youth group, and I think of Luke. I don't know if he's on tonight, but people who are raised in that, and I in a sense was raised in that, but I was so glad to have gone away from it and glad to have come to the place where I questioned it. Like 3 weeks after my dad died and it hit me, I was ready to, I didn't even ever think that I would want to be an atheist. But you best believe I began to let me go to a website and just see what I can find, and disprove the existence. It's like, if God was so good, why did my best friend die? As soon as I gave 7 years of the best years of a young man's life on the front lines serving, and he's gone. It's like, what the is that? That's what I was thinking. And so I really went through a lot of turmoil, and I just began to bury myself in my room and on YouTube and in depression. My weight just began to fluctuate. It was a very dark time. And for months, I went away from everybody. I ghosted everybody. Somebody who had traveled the world and was doing all this stuff. I went into a hidden season, and I didn't know how to pray. I couldn't pray. I couldn't read the Bible. Every time I would turn on the news, I would just find something to accuse the existence of God. And I was like, you know what? This is why Christianity and religion and faith and all stuff is bull, fill in the blank. I just knew it. That was the indictment. And I felt strong. I was convinced about it, And it was one day, this is how part of how my journey on LinkedIn started. I walked up the street. Of course, you guys see the woods and see all these beautiful shrubbery, and there's these Civil War forts not too far from me, about 3 miles. But across the street from my neighborhood is Pookie and Ray Ray. So I will walk up the street to this tennis court. And of course, in this neighborhood, it didn't get too much action during this time of year. So I would just circle the court, and I didn't know what to say. So I just started dropping a bunch of F-bombs. I mean, anything, all the black tar would just come out of me. And that was my prayer life for about 3 weeks. That's all I knew to say. That's all I knew to pray. All I knew was to throw every accusation, any wrong thing I could think to say, I would just say it to God. And I'm not propagating that. I'm just telling everybody the truth, that God gave me that space to do that. And I remember growing up, and kind of the religious thing is you don't question God. And I was like, you know what? People read their Bible, but they don't understand it. And when I went back and read, I was like, I think about 6 people, Habakkuk, Obadiah, Job, David. I could name a ton of people who actually questioned God. That's how they grew, And I remember an older man telling me, he said, now that you come to a crisis of the faith, this is what solidifies it for you. And that crisis of faith is what actually took my roots deeper. And it took my confidence deeper. And God began to show me, I began to have an idolatry for my father, because what I didn't have for so many years of my life, for 11 years, I finally had this best friend that I always wanted. And I saw him as my essential. And God showed me, you know what? He's not your essential. I am. That was the toughest pill to swallow, because I didn't want to hear that. I really, that wasn't a reality to me. And that he didn't take him from me, but he gave him to me as a best friend. Something that never happens for some people, by God's grace, happened for me. And so that really brought me into a sense of relief. And when I thought about what he went through the last year after the stroke, and that last 2.5 months, it's like, man, he was literally dying right in front of me. He was just existing, but now he's really living, It's like, I grieve. Yeah, I have my days, man, but I don't grieve as one who doesn't have hope, And so I'm really thankful. And that's when I would start taking these walks. It went from profanity and actually went to actual prayer and communication. I was ready to talk to God again, And it's out of that time of meditation that actually I started doing the videos, because that things would just come to me, concepts. But I never wanted to do counseling again. I never wanted to teach again. I never wanted to lead. I didn't want to mentor, because that was the things I was doing before my dad died. And I was just like, I had a staunch, anger against that. And I went into a nonprofit kind of corporate, which I work now, but I felt safe there. But it's like, I didn't feel passion, because it's like, I can do this as work, but it's work for me. When I'm leading other people,
it's work.
And not that I have to be the leader and have to be the speaker, but when I'm being who I was born to be, it's not work. I can do it forever. I can do it for hours, And so therein started my journey on the platform, because I jumped on LinkedIn not knowing nothing about LinkedIn. I know for years I didn't use social media, and I had a LinkedIn page, and I knew I didn't work for a year after Dad died, and I couldn't. It was just good for me to just take that time to just enter into some rest. But the beauty of it is that when I started working again and got a LinkedIn page up, once COVID happened, and even prior to COVID, I started posting things about the job on LinkedIn so people could see what was happening. I work in anti-human trafficking, which is a hard work. But I can tell you this, I would post things, and of course the people who are working, they started liking that stuff. But then I started posting video, and it would maybe be like 3 likes and like 1 comment, and it wasn't about that. But this guy Billy Samoa, Billy actually left he did a post about perfectionism. And I don't care how long you've been alive, you still gonna have stuff. I'm not some guy who's problem free. Let me just shatter that. Everybody knows I come real. I know that is a struggle of mine. And so I left this like book of a comment, and he DM'd me, and he was like, well, we need to talk. So we just start talking. And he said, tell me about yourself. Billy. And so we start talking and just kind of rapping with each other. And he said, we got together the next day. He said, I told my dad about you. He said, I don't tell my dad normally about just people I meet on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
He said, I want to meet weekly.
Wow.
And he saw my profile, and he was like, okay, global lead. And he said, okay, this is what you do. He said, but I feel like, he said, after hearing you speak and after seeing one of your videos, he said, what did you used to do? And I said, I was a mentor, a counselor, a public speaker, and I and he said, that's who you are. He said, why don't you global lead? Why don't you put that down in your experience section? He said, that'll show what you do, but tell us who you are. And once I started doing that, the rest is history. That just kind of opened the floodgates, man. So.
No, and that's it. Better invest now, ladies and gentlemen, because this stock is going to the moon. This year, it's just been amazing to see how undervalued your voice was previously. Like, we're the same people, the same individuals. We say, like you said, your same exact posts or videos only got a couple likes at once upon a time, but people are resonating with this voice, this message you're sharing. And yeah, I think this is only the beginning from what I can see on where your trajectory is. So let's tap into real quick just what you're doing here now, since we blew right past our 30-minute thing. We're well into our main event, ladies and gentlemen. Jahmaal Marshall is the main event. For the loyalist followers that have been following, you may have noticed Leah Turner and Luke and JP were kind of alternating shows for these main events, but Leah Turner had to pull out for personal reasons, and Luke and JP are a situation. So I've been trying to hear from JP if anybody wants to try and pull him in here. He needs some counseling or maybe just a hug or something. But we have bled into this sort of merged event for the night, and we are loving it. So thank you, Jahmaal. I'd love to hear. I know you have a lot of big projects you are brewing and currently working on, and some that are incoming. How much of that can you share with us, and spill the beans here with the people that are here with us and want to hear more of your voice and more Jahmaal?
I love it, man. Well, one, I'll say doing the videos and, knowing that you don't just always have to post a video or post a written post. When you comment, and you actually are commenting a desire to add value, that is content in of itself. And so that content, you know, of posting, when I posted, it was Mark Metry, he posted something about podcasting. And so I kind of like offered myself to be on a podcast. This was like 8-9 months ago. It's like, who the heck am I? You know, but then someone else, the Safety Justice League, they saw that and they were looking at my profile because I started dropping stuff like around the time of George Floyd.
Yeah.
And just kind of dropping stuff from a balanced perspective, because everybody wanted to be, oh, yo, this is no one should riot, and oh, Black Lives Matter. And I was like, okay, all of y'all shut up. Let's actually go right down the middle and see what's the real deal with this, because most of what's going on is behind the scenes. Okay. And so I wanted to speak to that and not, you know, kind of everyone wants you to take their side. And it's just like, okay, let me find a way to piss everyone off, but at the same time lovingly call everyone higher while I call myself higher.
Yes.
And those videos started to really catch fire. And so they said, man, we want to bring you on. And going on that podcast, one of the hosts, Abby, she said, you know, you ever thought about doing your own podcast? I was like, no, not really. I'd heard this before from just different random people, like, you know, you should do a podcast and your voice should be on the radio. And I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And then that podcast actually got me invited to other podcasts. And so, and it's you know, it was just kind of crazy, the doors that started opening. And then through being on those podcasts, I started getting inbound leads to do counseling again. And I'm just like, I'm amazed because, you know, right now I still work a full-time job, but I actually also do counseling and coaching on the weekends. And so I'm just like, this is things I never thought would happen, because I approached LinkedIn and I still do with no expectation of anything. And then through that, this very computer I'm on, this Mac, was sponsored and bought for me. This very mic right here was sponsored and sent to me. A green room that I'm not using yet was sponsored and sent to me. So people like, it's like the runway is very open for me to just go. And so I have a website that we're developing. Actually, we're almost pretty much, it's developed. It's called Listen, Then Speak. I love listening, then speaking. That's what counselors do. And it's very, very chic. It's not, you know, people, you go on somebody's website and it's just endless.
Yeah.
We ain't rolling like that. And also the podcast is called Listen Then Speak. Of course, my hashtag is Let's Get Into It. So if you want to find any of my content here on LinkedIn, hashtag Let's Get Into It.
Dropping
or follow
it right
me at
now.
Jahmaal Marshall. And so what we're developing is just putting every episode on there. I'm dropping the trailer this next week coming up. So really excited about that. And then you'll see an intro on Apple, Spotify, where else we're at? iHeartRadio, Amazon, and what else? Google. So we're 5 different platforms and spreading out. So we're getting the word out there. So it'll be two, the intro and the preface. And then I just shot my 6th episode today with Francisco Mafus, our wonderful Brazilian.
Yes, I know Francisco. Yes,
I did
very
5
cool.
with the wonderful Tiffany Castano. Y'all get ready for that. We're going to talk about real gender equality. So yeah, the door is open. And I'm just really super excited and been working behind the scenes with Pedro on a lot of different things. So I'm super excited about like where this is going and the doors that are going to open.
Dude.
I'm a new podcaster, but I'm having fun.
Oh, yes. No, one of my favorite moments was hearing, because when I see people with your type of voice, not only like in the metaphorical sense, like voice, but like you literally got a good podcast voice too. good little double dip. I was so excited to hear you were coming out with a podcast. It's just one of those things like, you just need to hear more of this guy's voice, and this is going to be it. So please do look into this. We'll share all the links. We'll be promoting it in the Discord, all of that fun stuff. The hashtag is dropped here for everybody that's on LinkedIn. Follow that. One of the top voices of LinkedIn. It used to be, I used to say underrated or underappreciated, but now you're kicking ass, but just as good as like all the ballers out here. And I think we have stirred some interest, because I don't know if you can see the same thing I can, but John Palmar is in the waiting room of this Zoom, and I'm scared to crack it open and pursue what it is, but I know he does need some type of, I don't know if he needs a counselor or Jesus or a hug or what, But I'm very curious because him and Luke were like bickering parents last week, and we haven't got to figure out the situation. So I'm wondering if having a mediation counselor here would be helpful to I'll leave this up to you since we've snagged the main event. Should we unleash the chaos of letting JP in this room?
Hey, let's get into it.
Oh, all right, ladies and gentlemen, take a breath, take a drink, because we need to figure out what is going on, and beware, he is going through some sensitive personal stuff, so there's some flexibility here, but I just got to know. So let's just do it. Let's just do it. We are officially bringing in the myth, the lion, the Tarzan of LinkedIn. Sir John Palmar actually exists, and we've summoned him from the universe, and there's no better time to connect because we have the Reverend Marshall here in the room. King Jahmaal is with us, JP. As you can obviously tell, you've probably been watching the show secretly pretending to not care.
Of course I've been watching this entire time. Come on, okay. Travis.
So I only have the simple high-level goal of figuring out what the hell is your situation, and we have the brilliant, insightful, talented counselor and potentially reverend if needed to go in that. But JP,
yes, I need
consider
to make a
this
Reverend.
your
I need to make a confession
chamber, because let me get me off of here. This is your confession chamber, JP. What is going on? And Jahmaal, can you get this man on the right track in life, or what? We'll see how it goes.
What God does.
So so where do I start? I think I've spent, I don't know, and I want to know in the comments if anybody's familiar with the gentleman Hunter S. Thompson. He wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He's a very, very popular writer. He committed suicide in 2005. I'm not committing suicide. I'm just putting that out there. But I think where there is some similarities is I think that like what I've been going through on a personal level is when you're introverted and you're not made to necessarily like be out in the public or be a personality, but it's almost as if like, you're getting pushed to do this thing. You're really going outside of your comfort zone, like you do want to kind of like curl up in a ball and hide. And it's very challenging to find that balance. So what I started finding is I was getting to the point where I was using a lot of I was depending on drugs, stimulants, energy drinks, and I would take all of these things to give me the energy to project and do 13 to 15 coaching calls a day, put out content, edit 12, 15 hours per video, and but it's not, I don't have that natural energy to do all these things, so it's like anything in life. When you have all these opportunities, you feel like you have to, dive in and be a part of everything because, you're afraid of losing everything that you've built, right? So you take everything, you got to enjoy the moment. And I think I just kind of like had a breakdown. And how this is kind of like, how this relates to Luke is, when Luke creates his content, when Luke does his thing, he has just such a free style, right? He doesn't have the pressure. In a lot of ways, I'm very envious of the fact that he has the ability to, speak his truth and do things in his own way. And that's okay. That works for him. So I think it was just like that final breakdown, just recognizing the fact like I can't do this at this anymore, even going from, making 2 videos a week, cutting it down to 1, the growth is still so fast. Like I think my video this week had 70,000 views, you know, which for a video on LinkedIn, that's very uncommon. And I was looking at it and I'm like, I'm not even talking about anything that amazing, you know? And it's like, but it's just trying to deal with all of the pressure. Most people, when you see, you know, money coming through the door or opportunities presenting themselves, you're cheering, you're jumping for joy. But for me, it's kind of like it's becoming scary, you know, like where I'm just gonna like, you know, like I almost like I don't want to take a step back, but it's like it's almost like your body is fighting you. So yeah, that's a little bit of the confession. But we do have some exciting news in the works, so it's not all negative.
Wow. I could read little pieces of that between the line. Just seeing your 12th Red Bull of the day and stuff like that. Maybe signals like that. We should reach out to our friends when they're in double-digit Red Bulls.
Right. You know, but it's interesting because Travis and Jahmaal, like, would you both identify more so as introverts than extroverts? We're all a mix, but if you had to be one or the other.
Travis, you want to take first pass or you want me to go?
100%. I would say like I'm like an 80-20 introvert. And when I did have extroverted tendencies, it was always like batch processed for like efficiency. Like, okay, we're going to a music festival, let's get a hotel, let's set everything, let's go pick all the restaurants, like let's do it all, let's do all the extrovert things, and then boom, and then we're good. And then I go back to my world for a couple weeks. Like that was my ideal rhythm. And I lost that obviously because music festivals, concerts, those were pretty much the only things that would pull me out. Obviously most of those aren't happening, so that was where I was even mentioning earlier at the beginning of the stream, I was so grateful to have these experiences because this is the closest energy I can have to that community or that higher connecting on a higher frequency that we were tapping into with Jahmaal. So right. Team introvert for sure, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely same. Probably more maybe 30-70, a little bit of ambivert, a little bit more tolerance. But definitely if you think about, let's just take it to a faith-based thing, like who didn't know who the person of Jesus Christ was? You know, there was a man, Jesus Christ, who existed. Everybody knew him. But if you think about even amongst his 12 disciples, he only kept company with 3 of them. And then outside of that, only kept company with 3 other people, which was Lazarus, Mary, and Martha. So 6 people out of like thousands. And so typically I think that Jesus actually was an introvert. And for me, I may know everybody, but I can't break bread with everybody. I don't have the capacity for that. And so if somebody says, yo, it's 25 of us going out for drinks, I'm always counting that number. And I'm like, okay, I don't think I can manage all that. And where's the group of 3 or 4 people who are going out to do whatever? Right. And I'll take that group and let's just go and have an intimate conversation because I can't shoot the breeze. I'm not good at that. And it's probably maybe being a counselor, I'm always wanting to go deeper, not to know everything, but let's just dig past the surface. That's even what listening and speak is about. So it's like, I can't do the BS. And so a lot of times it's too much of that and my rib cage starts to constrict. And I even when you see me outside, a lot of times you're seeing a minute and a half. I've been out there for 3 hours. I can do that ever. I can, because I love just being out and I'm in the woods, but I'm by myself. That's where I gain energy. And so I get drained. I love people, but being around a ton of people and having that capacity to interact and keep that up, it sucks the life out of me. So yeah, I get it, man. Right.
Yeah. Like, agree 100%. And what's interesting also is like the creative process, right? When people see creatives, I'm sure what's her face is in here. She does like painting and like art and stuff like that, but this applies to anybody in any like art form, creating music, whatever, like when you see somebody creates an excellent routine or anything artistic, like I just from like what I've been researching, kind of like getting into my own thing, like even, especially with writers, people that write for newspapers, articles, books, these people are always on drugs. These people are always medicating, whether it's, Hunter S. Thompson, like I said, or what's the guy that wrote It and Stand By Me, like the actual book? Like, he's a pretty famous writer, but I'm not like remembering his name right now. But a lot of these famous writers, a lot of these famous people, like, they all do drugs because the drugs allow them to get into a creative space. So I started to find, like, I started to mess around with, like, and I have a prescription, you know, but like Adderall, some of these other, you know, like some of these like stimulants, you know, and I noticed that when I would take them, I would be more creative, right? So then it got to a point where I was almost like getting to the point where I was abusing them, or I was purposely like implementing them when I knew that I had like a big debt. I needed to write a piece of content, you know? And it's like, I wonder how many people, you know, or I know, that are actually like struggling with this demon or having this battle with substance abuse because they feel the pressure that they need to create something amazing out there. And then for those creators that are doing these amazing things, how many of them can do it from a state of complete sobriety? Like, yeah, like that's kind of scary to me. This is the side that a lot of people don't see as much, but at least in my little circle, I know a lot of people where it's like, if they're not medicated, they can't create these beautiful, amazing things that they get to share with the world. So, you know, I feel like there's more attention that needs to be paid into stuff like that. By the way, it was Stephen King. Wow. Stephen King, right? That's the writer?
Indeed, yeah. Gabe jumped in there. No, lots of amazing. So many people have hopped over and are still hanging with us. Thank you guys so much. We are in the improv confession chamber. JP is alive and well, in fact, and we've got our local legend
this conversation's
Jahmaal
getting kind of dark,
taking care of him.
Oh, I want to speak to that, and just kind of backtrack to when JP first started talking. And I think especially for the introvert and even for the extrovert, sometimes extroverts just don't want to admit it. And many extroverts are closeted introverts. They're willing to be gut level honest. A lot of us, especially when the capacity gets so high, and right now, JP, your capacity is off the charts. We end up catching up with our life instead of living it. And when you're trying to catch up with life, you're kind of in this race with yourself, and you're back here, and the other you is like somewhere like 50 yards ahead. And it's just like, man, I can't even catch up with this guy. Like how I'm not even living. I'm actually existing right now, but I look like I'm living. And so how do I keep this up? How do I throw this representation out of there? And a part of that is it's easy to kind of get in touch with the chemical thing that would relax us and put us in that space. And that chemical for you is a prescription. For another person, that chemical could be, like we talked about earlier, a toxic relationship, or it may be pornography. It could be anything that kind of just sedates you. But part of meditation, it brings you into that oneness with just like, you know what? You have permission to rest. You know, if you never did another video, man, you're loved. And even I can't convince you of that tonight, but somehow, some way that can become real to you. And a lot of times the reality of truth doesn't become real to us until we hit a wall. And sometimes we want to do everything we can to like keep going and avoid hitting that wall. And hitting that wall is the very thing that's needed to rescue us and save us from ourselves. And so you even hitting the wall, if it happens even months from now, even a year from now, it'll be like, this was the time I really started living. And you've already shared a lot of like the past marriages and this, that, and the other, but like, this is that second testimony. This is that second story. And even being this open, you have the support that if someone never saw a JP video, people are still willing to work with you. Sometimes we don't believe that we're loved. And so we're so thirsty to kind of maintain the very thing we built up. And it's like, man, I've built this. I've put so much energy into this. And it's just like, you know, the beauty of like multi-level marketing when it's actually real is like, it's actually going to work on its own, you know, giving ourselves that permission to rest. I mean, whether you believe in him or not, it says even on the seventh day, God rested. So if the creator of the universe rests on the seventh day, who are we as humans who came from dust and who are going to go back to dust, not to rest?
That's true. And I love the way that you put it, because it's, you know, everything is equivalent exchange, right? Kind of like what you were kind of going towards. Everything in life is equivalent exchange. If you're living like kind of like a fast life, or trying to kind of like hack your body, or trying to get ahead, or, you know, turning to these substances or whatever it is to try to get ahead of everybody else that's doing it, you know, in a safe way, you know, there are repercussions to that, whether it's a later health issue or it's a dependency and addiction, like whatever it may be. Like all of these things inevitably do catch up to you. And it's like you said, inevitably there will be that wall where you're going to have to come to terms with, the pain that I'm going through with all of these things is worse than the pain of the idea of failure. And it's just, when am I willing to have that? Or not even myself, this could be anybody. When are you willing to have that compromise? When are you really ready to come to terms with the pain I'm experiencing, as these results is no longer as sweet as just admitting failure, and maybe that's part of it, right? Like, is it even really failure? It's not even failure, right? Because you've gotten this far. So I mean, we're all fighting that. So I think, like, it's relatable because we all have something within our lives where it's just like, especially on LinkedIn, man, like, we all feel like, if you're on LinkedIn, I'm convinced, like, you're a special person. If you're listening right now, you're a special person, because there is a million other things that you could be doing. You could be watching Netflix. You could be, solving a puzzle. I don't know. But you're on a business platform on a Friday night watching this right now, or you spend a lot of time on the LinkedIn community, building your business, your personal brand, whatever it is. Like, you're already a very special human. And so all of us probably have like that little chip on our shoulder that could to push us forward.
That's it. And even, oh man, you said so much right there as far as just the pace. And the thing about it is, when you're running at breakneck speed, at some point you're going to gas out. And the beauty of this season, the funny thing is, like, this would be the perfect time to hit that wall, because it's like, internationally, we're going through COVID. And even, that's why you have so many, everybody's a coach, I'm sorry. And I like
so true.
And counselors, but it's like,
it's true.
Everybody's a TED speaker.
Yes.
I'm going to try to be nice and not snatch too many wigs tonight.
But. Take a yo, we're approaching after hours there. It filters out. Where would the cool kids crowd now? You're good.
Right.
It just gets to that point where it's like, we all want to have this persona. We all want to kind of run this racing and get ahead. But the funny thing is, like, I used to swim. And I remember, like, when I first got in there, you think of like these big dudes who have these Michael Phelps type bodies. And it's just like, I'm never going to be able to beat that kid. And I remember, especially in the freestyle, you're looking to see like, okay, how's he going to dive? What's his stroke look like? And I remember, like, my time would normally in tryouts would be better than theirs. But then I would lose when I would actually get in the meet, because I'd be looking at them.
Wow.
And there's a scripture that says in Corinthians, they compared themselves amongst themselves and they weren't wise. It's like, I'm looking at them and I'm not staying in my lane focused on what I need to do.
Right.
And so part of even being on LinkedIn, because it's a career platform, or even Instagram too, and somewhat, is you start looking at all these other people and what they put out there, and we're comparing ourselves with a perception. I like to call it like the mystery of iniquity. And it's just like, if I can get my eyes off other people and just stay in my own lane and run the race set before me, my race doesn't look like Travis or JP's or Luke's or Tamika's, or I could just name a different people, that their race is their race, but this is my lane. I'm assured to win. It's already a winning recipe. The losing recipe is when I compare myself, because when I compare myself, then I feel defeated and I fear failure. And when I fear failure, I want to comfort myself. And we're going to comfort ourselves with our vices. Whatever we medicate with to kind of bring ourselves to the place where we want to forget what we're dealing with. And so I would say for anybody, admit first to yourself that you have a problem comparing yourself with other people. And we all do. Just get gut level honest. When you get honest, that's when you get free. So yeah,
I love
that's what's coming to me. Go ahead.
No, it's just like being, I obviously don't have a problem with full transparency, but it's also very refreshing. I had no idea that you were very spiritual, Jahmaal. Like, it never, I guess it just never came up in the conversation, but I'm really impressed with like your ability to recite and all that stuff, because like Luke and I both, my name's Jonathan and Luke is Luke, from the Bible. So I grew up in like a very religious household, and I believe Luke did too. So it's like, what are the chances, and then you're coming with all the scripture, and it's just like, one thing, like, I remember younger, I didn't have any of these problems when I was in a very like spiritual atmosphere. I had a lot of peace in my mind and my heart. Maybe it's because I just wasn't exposed to a lot of that other stuff. But I feel like, that peace that we can find with that, like a higher power is so powerful, and I feel like he kind of like guides us in that way to, get past some of that stuff. So I don't think this was coincidental. Maybe I need to tap into some of that stuff, open up the good old book and take a look at it again. So thank you for that.
No problem, man. We call it a divine appointment, you know? And the truth is I like how your brutal honesty and like, okay, that's the environment when I was in, but you're in an environment now, and it's just like what you have the chance to actually get deeper roots, you know? When people kind of live, you know, I call it these cultic bubbles. It's just like what you're in is not being tested. You know, you don't know who you are, and I don't know who I am until it's been tested. You know, like a guy who may be like some sexual addict and says, hey, I don't ever want to be, you know, sleep with another woman again. Well, if you're around all sorts of guys, that's not going to happen. You know, you get in an environment where you're tested, then you know what you're really made of. And so right now you're in the fire of testing. This will be the time for you to actually have deeper roots to see like, okay, let's fan the flame, and the flames are already wafting up. Let's see what I have inside of me, because actually that's going to make you desperate to tap into that higher power. Where we're not desperate, we'll keep doing what we're doing. You know, when we get desperate, right. And a lot of times that comes from hitting that wall. It's like, you know what? I've come to the end of me. And when I'm at the end of me, I'm actually ready to try something else. And for me, in my faith, I'm ready to try someone else to actually live their life through me, because they can do in the spirit what I could never do in the flesh, you know? So there's the secret, y'all, to my videos. It's actually not me, it's just God.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. And I do believe that too, because like if I talk about like some of my story, you know, like when I was wrestling and I was able to work with my childhood hero, and it just like what the heck, like what were the chances, you know? Or even like this whole thing being a forensic accountant and then being able to do LinkedIn full time. It's just like, yeah, like there's got to come to a point in all of our lives, if we're lucky enough, that like we say to ourselves, okay, not everything in life could just be some crazy coincidence, right? Like there has to be something bigger than us that is influencing all of these things. It's guiding us. It's setting those like little thin strings that connect to, you know, that those people, places, and things that we're striving for. So yeah, I mean, I really do believe like there's no such thing as a coincidence. There's always a bigger reason. And I think the more you nurture that flame, that fire, you know, the more you recognize, the more you bring into your life. So definitely think that's true. I'm with you, brother.
You hit it out the park right there. And think about like the season you're in right now. One thing they say oftentimes, and this is LinkedIn, so we all know network marketing, and sometimes we get hit with there's good network marketing and there's bad network marketing, and we see a lot of it in our DMs. But part of good network marketing is finding a formula and duplicating yourself. And even in your coaching right now, what you're doing and with your clients is you're duplicating yourself. Now, I can tell just from talking to you tonight, there's a heart inside there. With all that tough wrestling exterior, there's a tender heart inside there. And I would believe that you want to duplicate the best version of yourself. And part of us, I know for me, when I hit the wall in my own life, and we hit different walls throughout our journey because we cross bridges when we get to them, is we began to see, okay, what's the highest version of me? That's what I want to duplicate. That's what I want to pass on. That's what I want to birth in other people. And that'll really, I think your clients will be like, okay, I don't have to like strive endlessly to kind of maintain this thing. I can work hard, but I can also enter into rest and enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I love that. And it's actually leads to a really exciting conversation that I can finally have. Like we've been holding on to this for weeks. You know, it's gotta be months now, but LinkedIn finally announced it today. Do you guys have any idea what I'm talking about? Travis? Do you know the really exciting news that just came out today? No?
No, I'm absolutely
Jahmaal, could you take a guess what it could possibly be? Anything exciting you hear about today, or no? Not yet?
I'm gonna take a stab, and I'm probably wrong. And if I say the C word, I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh no!"
Oh,
and you can actually link your LinkedIn to Clubhouse.
No.
Oh, are they making their own version of Clubhouse?
No. Bigger than that.
I guess they would be slower, anyways.
LinkedIn is
Twitter is
a
and
creator
Facebook.
program.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that means.
So what that is we're going to be able to monetize for our content. So just like TikTok and YouTube, we're going to start being able to make money for our content. So, you know, for us that, you know, we do have close ties with LinkedIn, having the ability to do that and having the ability, like, you know, be able to take our friends, you know, you, Jahmaal, Travis, you know, maybe even Luke, I'll think about it, and say, hey, listen, LinkedIn, these are all the people that I believe make great content. These people are the ones that need to be nurtured. These are the people that, you know, you need to endorse, the types of creators that deserve to get paid for their content. But this is going to be rolled out to everybody. Everybody's going to have the opportunity to stand out. But the fact that we can finally, you know, like all of these hours, myself, Shay, so many, you know, Alex Sheridan, Brian Harmon, Ravi, all these individuals that are putting a ton of time into the creation of their content and, you know, giving this value out freely, free no more. The fact that like the creators are going to get paid to do this is so exciting for us, because finally, like, you know, yes, having businesses and stuff, it's not going to pay all of our bills. But the fact that you could make $900 off of a video, you know, like that you create for this community that's insane. And it's such a blessing. So yeah, we can finally talk about have that conversation, because it's coming soon. So yeah.
Well, I'm definitely super excited. And just to tell it straightforward, I get to move out of the neighborhood from Pookie and Ray Ray. Thank God. Very exciting news.
Oh, love it. Nice,
where
man.
are you exactly? Where are you exactly, Jahmaal? What
I'm in
state?
Washington, D.C. So.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
D.C. is expensive. Like,
It is.
isn't it like either 1 or 2, like per square inch or something like that? One of the most expensive areas to live.
Yeah, it is. So I will need that extra.
Right. But I think it's, yeah, like really excited about that, because this applies for anybody. And you know what? It's like with the organic reach as good as it is, you know, I do feel like there will be a rise. Maybe people won't be as like pushing the coaching agenda as much, or maybe it'll just make it explode. Now everybody will want to be a LinkedIn coach because they realize that they could train these people to create content that makes money. I don't know what to think of it, but it's exciting. It's definitely exciting. So
It's super exciting. I'm hyped for this, man. Like, yeah.
So what, Jahmaal, I gotta know, since you said the C word, what's the deal with Clubhouse? Are you big on Clubhouse? Do you feel like it's got some legs on it? For me, the jury's out. I know that it's going to impact podcasting. I can see that. But with Twitter starting to implement like a Clubhouse format, I'm kind of worried about Clubhouse a little bit. Do you think it's going to be around? Is it going to be a thing?
I'm gonna give it to you straight. And I know Enrique's on here and a lot of other cybersecurity people, and we're not even gonna get into that aspect of it because it has a lot of problems in that area. So folks who are spending hours and hours on Clubhouse, be careful. I just want to let you know that your information is not safe. Two, I mean, for me, I'm on there and I'm off of there. I only have 164 followers. That goes to show you how many times.
Wait, only 164 followers? Like, clap for you. That's still pretty good to be spending minimal amounts of time. All right.
Well, yeah, thank God for that. But I mean, like to get to the point, I would just, with Clubhouse, I think right now it's hot, and I don't know how much staying power it has because it can be. I'm seeing like people are pulling away from the normal platforms where they're pollinating and where they really have authority. And you're getting the testimonials of like, my wife's like, dude, get the F off of there. Or it's just all sorts of stuff is happening and it's affecting families. And so I'm hoping, for me with Clubhouse, the jury's out for me. I'm 50-50 on it. When I get on there, I do get a lot of value. But as far as spending like the 3-hour rooms, I can't do them. I can't. The hour rooms, the 50-minute rooms are pretty cool. The intimate rooms where it's like 3 to 5 people, but the 3-hour and there's like, everybody and their mom and, Elon Musk is in there. I know Joseph Maury is going to kill me. I can't, but each person is different. So I don't know with Twitter moving in the direction they're moving, we'll see. The jury for me, if they're on my wait and see list, I'll still have the app on my iPad. But I don't know.
Here's the thing.
With that one.
For guys that look like you and me and Travis, we're too pretty to be on Clubhouse, right? Like, leave Clubhouse for the Adam Posners, the Joe Lagleys. They have a face perfect for Clubhouse, right? But for guys like us, no. We thrive on camera. We should be on camera. It's an injustice to take our faces off of camera. But yeah, so let them do that thing. You know,
Yo,
let
you
them
know
go over there.
what would
I
be
don't,
fun,
I don't really
though,
want competition anyways. Right?
is doing this type of setup through a clubhouse, because then there's less. I don't know if it would be as engaging, but you could throw down all kinds of stuff, audio only games, audio music we could keep, throw all kinds of yeah, I don't know, we'll test the waters. But no, I've been watching all the guys in the Discord shred clubhouse with the, as far as like penetration testing and like all kinds of, I don't know, there we have this technology nerd channel that
Is it wrong of me to say
Jahmaal,
this?
you would love.
Is it wrong of me to say this? But I feel. All right, I'm just gonna do it. It's different than podcasting because with podcasting it's recorded and you have transcription, right? But is it a little discriminatory to the deaf community? Because it's in a bubble, right? Like it exists for a moment and then it disappears. You can't re-listen to it like a podcast, right? And you can't transcribe it, like I said. So is it a little discriminatory? Maybe a little bit?
That's something to think about, man. All right, you mindfulness people, this is real mindfulness.
Yeah.
Taking it past the surface. Let's get into it.
Yeah,
Wow.
so maybe we could leave it there because I gotta run. You know, yeah, like I don't want to burn out tonight. But yeah, it was really a pleasure talking to you, Jahmaal. Maybe like I would love to like take a spiritual journey with you on a LinkedIn Live. So maybe that's something we could work in the works. Like, you know, just sometime in the future if you're open for it, I would be more than happy to go down that path with you.
I'm definitely open, man. Just I'll DM you or you DM me and let's get into it and let's make it happen. My intention with 2021 is my 3 words: fearless, proactive, and intentional. So, and for me, even with my full-time job, what gets scheduled gets done. What doesn't get scheduled never gets done. So let's just put it on the calendar and see what God does.
Let's do it. Travis, I think we could go one more week without Luke.
Yo.
And maybe maybe that could be a part
No,
of the plan,
okay.
you know?
You guys have got to figure it out. We had a good healing session today. I don't know the dilemmas, but we got to keep that one because Leah is having real, actual personal issues to not have her shows, and y'all just need to figure your marriage out. But what we can use is the other slot that is open for the main event that we kind of just filled with the Jahmaal Marshall show. Maybe
Nice.
Is something we could utilize for that next week. If you guys need a time slot to have that conversation you were
What do
just
you think,
mentioning.
Jahmaal? It's your call, brother. I could be here next week, same time, same place.
Or
Well,
it
I'll
would be
here 30 minutes earlier.
the bi-weekly rotation. So this
got
is
it,
Leah's.
got
This would be to fill Leah's temporarily.
So it's not this week, but the following week?
Correct.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today
I could do
is
it.
open.
Let's roll.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Boom. That's how it's
Boom.
done, ladies and gentlemen. This is how the hustlers hustle behind the scenes. You got a sneak peek. Thank you for hopping in, JP. Jahmaal, we did drop the podcast CTA earlier. Any final words you want to, or shout outs or anything? I know it's getting late over there for both of y'all. But I think this is a perfect note to wrap it up. And then we'll keep things rolling in 2 weeks from now. We'll have the Jahmaal JP experience real quick.
It's got a ring to it.
Or something.
It does have a ring to it. Yeah, I think we've given him plenty tonight. I just want to super stoked to chop it up with both of you guys and get to know you better, JP. And yeah, podcast trailer will be out early next week. I'm so excited about Listen Then Speak and what's happening there. More videos to come, definitely more curated content, so much to speak, but you know, I'm still gonna keep it natural like me. I'm not gonna be overproducing. That's not who I am. But that's not my brand, y'all.
You don't need to be making them videos for 5-year-olds like I do. Be true to you.
And I definitely want to call out, I think I saw Veronica Safoa in the chat. The queen
She made
has come
it.
to visit us tonight, and so I love her. I love everybody in the chat, but that's it from me, y'all. Thanks for chilling with us.
It's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Next
good
week,
night.
guys. Or the following week.
You absolute legends. You and Luke, Jesus. It's maybe we'll just go on air and let it just work out like a reality TV show. Just
No,
let
that's
it.
the best.
But
I'll
thank
give
you
another
guys
one
so
like
much.
last week.
Oh, so much love. You guys lit up this room. Thank you, Jahmaal. Thank you, JP. I appreciate you jumping in
Always.
on the spot and sharing your vulnerability. I think it's respected. A lot of us are very sheltered, reserved, protected. So the moments like that are encouraging for others to step up and
in
do
that
the
audience,
same.
somebody in the audience is going through it. They understand. So yeah,
Absolutely.
you never know. Never know. So
Absolutely.
it's
All
okay,
right.
guys.
Love you guys. Take care. Cheers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was awesome. Let me know how you think that was. We technically had no plan. Jahmaal was in that spotlight story that we do for that 30 minutes. Other than that, I had no game plan. That was why I said mystery main event, because we had no idea where it was going to go, if we needed to play some games, if it was getting weird. But we summoned JP. It looks like he had a healing session with Jahmaal, and hopefully they'll figure things out. If not, I think it was, it's all in good faith, and good fun. They know that they're good friends regardless. So thank you guys so much. This was another episode of Feel Good Friday. I am gonna wrap things up. We'll keep the stream up for a little bit to filter people into the Discord, but just gotta give a sick thank you to everybody. Teresa, thank you so much. Gabe, if you're still here, appreciate all your cheers and support. Teresa again with more cheers. All of the new followers on Twitch, thank you. Hit the follow button. Also follow Ronin Janitor here in the chat. That is Nick Lozano, part of our stream team. Please follow him as well, and we'll keep it rolling. But we'll be back next week for another round of Feel Good Friday. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Jihan. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Drew Peniton. Thank you, Dana. Everybody that joined us, thank you guys so much. Of course, Reggie Waterman in the building. Bro, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. Your guys' love, your energy, everything, I can feel it every week, and it's so inspiring to keep me going. Love this medium, love this platform, love everything, and I love all of you guys. So thank you so much for joining us. That is it for tonight. I'll see you in the after party. Join our Discord community. Thank you for joining tonight's episode of Feel Good Friday, powered by Restream.